Yeah, my name is Franco Scribante, and my team is Scuderia Franco Scribante.
My name is Jonker. I'm with Scribante Racing. The car is a 1972 based Chevron B26. It's got a radical performance engine 2.9 V8 Hayabusa engine in, which is two Hayabusa engines that's mated together with a common crankcase and a common crank. The car is the only one in the world that's ever been mated with a TMT Hewland gearbox and a 2.9 Suzuki V8 engine into a B26 Chevron.
Hi, I'm Silvio Scribante. I'm racing for the Scribante racing team and I drive the B26 Chevron. And yeah, I'm team up with Franco Scribante and hopefully we're going to go out there to win today.
Today we're at the second round of the Mopar African Series, endurance racing. We're at Killarney, Cape Town. You know, many years ago, if you go back 50 years, endurance racing was the thing, you know. And it sort of fell out of the flavour and Formula One took over. And if I just look at myself, I haven't watched Formula One for 2 years maybe, and I was the biggest fan because we all know what's going to happen. It's almost written before it happens. Different racing is coming back. It's like the hill climbs. They fell out of the picture for many years. That said, endurance racing takes over a period of time, but it's not just one driver doing as fast as he can. There's a lot of luck involved. There's preparation of the teams involved. How good is the team under pressure?
Obviously teamwork's very important in terms of having two drivers which are consistently on pace, that look after the car, and having good mechanics that can keep the car well maintained throughout the race, and also keeping the pit stop strategies to a minimum to ensure less time in the pits and ultimately a faster ending position.
So it's quite a mixed bag, and you can't just be good at one thing, you've got to be good at everything. And that's what makes it interesting, and it makes it interesting for the public. And if you look at Le Mans today, 24 hours, it's a sellout. You know, people hadn't heard about it anymore 10 years ago. It had fallen apart, you know. So endurance racing is back to stay for sure.
We've got highly skilled mechanics. We've got two guys, which is Eddie and Eugene. Eugene is one of the best fabricators that we've got. Eddie's an all-rounder, qualified mechanic, and me as the team manager, also being 12 years in racing, we know what we're doing from the start of the workshop to prepare the car up until where we are now.
From the driver's point of view, you've got to be fit. The driver needs to be able to give the crew chief good feedback all the time, so he knows what. If you don't give him feedback, he doesn't know what to do, you know. And if you're not drinking properly, and if you're not fit, you can't think straight. You know what I mean? From the crew's point of view, the preparation has got to be crackerjack, and my crew's like it. I mean, we don't leave anything to chance.
Endurance racing, it's a team effort, you know, from the mechanics to the drivers to the pit crew. You know, it's definitely not just driver as in a sprint race. It's more of a team effort, and for us, this is a day-night race. It's our first ever we're doing. So I think, you know, we qualified on pole position for today, and let's hope Franco can get out there and pull an advantage, and hopefully I can maintain that advantage during the evening session.
The cars consist of a lot of technology. I've got a guy from Phoenix Performance, Marco, which just does killer tunes to the car to make it come off the line, which I personally think is one of the best guys in South Africa, setting a car up to make it work. There's so much work that goes in it, from the fabrication side to the mechanical side to the physical setup of the car to make it brake, to make it handle, to make it safe. That's basically our thing, as from the workshop coming to the track. And then the track conditions itself, every time you come to the track, it changes. So you have to make the car to work on a base setup, and you will completely tune the car as the weekend goes through.
sprint racing and endurance racing are two different things. In the sprint races, the guys are always aware of it, you know. And in endurance racing, there's a huge disparity of speeds between the different classes. So you can be doing 150 km an hour more than the guy you come to pass. If he changes lanes, I mean, you can kill yourself. So you got to be wary all the time. And guys who you've been up against for years and you know what they're going to do, you know their capabilities, you have no problem with that. It's the guys you don't know and they start to waver lanes and you can catch a big fright. So you've got to be very careful and take your time, you know. It's terrible going from day to night, you know. The lights are never good enough. There are regulations to lighting, I suppose, because then we'd all put rally lights on and nobody will be able to see being blinded by the next car. But it's the night driver's got a very difficult job. Yeah.
We started off strong this morning. Car had good pace. Franco was starting to pull a big gap on the other guys. We had almost close to a 30-second gap in the beginning, and then we had a puncture problem with Franco, right front puncture. Fixed that up and he went out again, and eventually the selector drum got stuck. So it's teething problems which we're going to have to sort out on the car. The car's the only one in the world that exists with this engine and this gearbox, so we're going to have to see what it likes for endurance racing and what do we have to change on the gearbox to make it last. But Scribante will definitely be there in the future.